Morning, my name's Stephen Abery of Abery Yachts, and today we're in La Grande Motte on the Nautitech 48, a boat that we're very pleased to be agents for, and I'd like to give you a little show around. We'll start on deck, which I think will emphasize some of the really outstanding features of the Nautitech 48, and talk to you a little bit about the things that we think make it a great boat, and part of the reason we chose it as an agency. I think the first and foremost is the steering position. There's no chance that I start here. It's a logical place, but it really is one of the places where we see the outstanding features of the boat and what makes it very suited to its purpose. The helms are right aft. They have a direct cable connection to the rudders, and that's part of the DNA of the yacht. You really have a yacht which you feel in connection with the environment, you feel the sensation of sailing, and for me, that is something which is an essential part of owning any yacht. It's very ergonomic, it's very comfortable, the space for two to sit here, controls, visibility. Obviously, you have a very small blind spot through, but honestly, it is not something I would feel concerned about. There is a lot of glass area. You can helm from either port or starboard. So that's something for me that works extremely well. It also puts you in connection with all the sailing controls. You have control to the traveller, you have your primary winches, all of which are electric. The only winch that you see here, which is an option, is the second main sheet traveller winch. So even as standard, the boat is extremely well equipped. As the camera pans around there, you'll see all the lines are led aft to these primary winches. So sail handling really is extremely easy. Reefs come back to the cockpit. The whole concept is extremely consistent. For a short-handed family crew or a couple wishing to sail around the world, you have a very safe and very manageable platform. We'll come back to talk about the interior and the way that the saloon links with the cockpit area. But first, let's go and have a little look up on deck. So moving forward, we've got all sorts of other nice features to point out. Textile covered standing rigging, which I think is something which just gives a nice feel. We have flush hatches all the way through. These rather smart Antal folding cleats, which I think are really smart. And then we got lots of practical features as well. The bow lockers are enormous. If I open one up here, perhaps Liam will be able to show us the volume. Another thing which really should be considered for those going long-term cruising, it's possible to have a much larger hatch, which would be large enough that you could put an unfolded bicycle inside. Perhaps more practically, a light weather sail can go straight down into the bow, and no danger of it being left on deck where exposed or for something to trip over by the crew. So that is something for somebody going long-term sailing, I think would be well worth considering. Obviously, it can be done in both bows. One can be a workshop. Lots of possibilities there. Very nice, comfortable seating area, pop-up lamps. And from a practical point of view, look at the size of these trampolines. They're very long, all of which are the sorts of features which help the seaworthiness of the vessel. They reduce pitching, which is always something that one would try to avoid with a catamaran. They look great in black, carbon bowsprit. The standard and probably the configuration I would recommend for the vast majority of usages is with this self-tacking jib. And then I would think most people would want a combination of at least two downwind sails, probably a code 0 and something like a parasailer or something really allowing you to go deep downwind. The access to the roof is just so easy. These 2 substantial steps, very easy and safe to walk up. And then 2 great features to emphasize. You've got a large coach roof able to take solar panels, and with the modern solar panels, there's a possibility to have about 3 kilowatts of panels up here. And something which just, for me, is a reason I probably would never consider a flybridge boat is being able to get to the mainsail. It's not only great in terms of the sailing performance, but just from a practical point of view and a safety point of view, being able to get to the mainsail, which is a big sail. It's 90 odd, I think it's 93 square meters. It's just a fundamental thing for me on a sailing boat. Black painted mast is done for very good quality. You know, this is a 3-year-old boat, and there's no signs of corrosion. Obviously, there's Antal gear for locking halyards. Systems are of an extremely good standard. It's all part of a package which makes it an absolutely great and versatile sailing yacht. So we're going to go and have a look around the interior, but obviously now I'm back in the cockpit. Just want to start again with some of the features which I think you should be aware of in terms of sailing characteristics. You can see from the helms, and then we have the hatches to the engine room. Also, the engines are quite well forward. And when we go into the interior, you'll see other elements such as fuel tanks located in the bilges. And there's a real effort with the boat to keep the weight distribution correct. So, you know, starting here, you have rudders as far aft as possible with cable steering, so you've got feel, and also will be helpful for maneuverability when parking in the marina. Then you have engines quite well forward, so the sail drives also forward of the rudders, all of which adds up to great advantages for the handling of the yacht. This cockpit area can have 2 layers of screening, one for sun and mosquitoes, and one for complete sealing with clears. Like all catamarans, you have great rib handling. The davits are well placed. They're also attractive, which they aren't always. And obviously you can use the winches to help lift the rib up into the space between the hulls. And there's enough space for a good sized rib, well over 3 meters. These tables can now, as standard, go up and down on electric pillars. The fridge here is an option, and this is one of the earlier boats since when there are various little changes and differences to how the saloon table works. But you have a nice seating area, and it again, I come back to the way that, you know, that there's a great balance with this boat. There's a great consistency through all the design elements. You know, with guests on board, there's lots of entertaining space. Most of your entertaining can be done when the weather is good, but it's very ergonomic and there's a great feeling of comfort and clever space utilization if you're on the boat when it's just you as a couple. You have this central bar area, which the more time you spend on the boat, the more you find yourself using it. Obviously, when preparing food or with guests on board, it's a nice central area. Actually, when navigating, it's also a really good area. You know, I can imagine on a night watch standing here, being able to monitor and see clearly through these hatches to the mainsail. You're close to the navigation area. It just somehow brings all this area together. The galley works extremely well. There's an option to have gas or an induction hob, electric oven. various possibilities in terms of refrigeration. There are 3 units here where you can mix and match between fridges and freezers. It's a really nice saloon area. There is great natural light, and there's very good visibility as you turn through all directions. Build quality feels really nice. The roof fittings, the floors are extremely solid. There's no squeaking and movement when you step around the boat. And again, to emphasize, this is a boat that's done a couple of seasons of charter and has been cleaned for the show, nothing more than that. This area is just a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't see another yacht in this category which comes even close. We're going to have a look in the hulls at the owner's hull and then the various options for the starboard guest and utility hull. So now we're in the owner's hull, which is the port hull with Nautitech. I guess really what you would expect to see in a 48-foot catamaran. Very good sized double bed, lots of storage and cupboards. One cupboard here can be used for a washing machine, but there's hanging space. Little details worth pointing out that add up. Actually, these soft close cupboards. It is always a bit of an issue with a catamaran of this size that the owner's hull becomes a little bit of a corridor. I actually think on this boat it works better than most I've seen, and perhaps all I've seen. There is a nice integration here between the sleeping area, this unit here, which has a pull-out desk. There's lots of nice cupboards underneath. There's a mixture of materials, a little bit of leather. That's a very usable space, which I'm sure anybody will enjoy. Lots of cupboard space here. I understand one boat actually elected not to have the space here and actually moved the toilet into the bathroom, which allowed them to have a sofa as well. So a little bit of customization, a little bit of options to think about. The owner's bathroom is really another great feature. It has lots of space, twin sinks, a really good shower. The lighting is very effective. You've got a nice big hull port, so you have natural light. You've got an opening hatch above. Really, it's everything you would want in a bathroom on a 50-foot catamaran. The starboard hull on this particular boat has a guest double aft, and we'll go and have a look at the versatility cabin forward. The bed is exactly the same size as on the owner's hull. Nice big port, opening hatches, so you've got 3 hatches, which is great in terms of air circulation. A very comfortable bed, separate toilet and separate shower room, which are of a generous size. As we walk through here, it's worth just lifting this board. I mentioned earlier, there's a great effort through the boat in terms of weight distribution. Light displacement is about 13.5 tons with this boat, so probably 15 tons loaded with cruising equipment. The boat is designed to carry a good complement of crew and cruising equipment. When we go up to the bow, We'll have a look at the deck hatches, which are enormous. It's a boat designed to carry the payload that you need for comfortable cruising. So attention to detail about weight distribution of equipment makes a real difference. We'll go and have a look at the forward cabin in the starboard hull now, which has various very interesting options. The forward area of the starboard hull in this particular boat has the versatility cabin. So you have many options here. This top bunk folds away. This section can fold down to create a double. You have a nice desk. You have lots of storage. It really, in terms of having guests on board, gives you all different options to have a cabin configuration that works. It can also be configured as a utility cabin, effectively a workshop with a washing machine. In this area, you will have the water maker. You can have a hatch going through into the bow section to create further storage and tool spaces. It's very light again. It's an area that different customers will have a different vision of how they're going to use the boat, and we can work with you to adapt this to really match your program. We'll show you a couple of photos of the option to have a much larger hatch into the forepeak, which this boat doesn't have, but there's some still photography. It's another really great feature for a boat which is designed to take you and your family around the world.